Hello everyone. Today we are going to read one of my favorite books, Harriet, You Will Drive Me Wild, written by Mem Fox and illustrated by Marley Fraser. So as we read, I want to you help me to think about what is happening here and now the characters, how the characters feel and what might happen next. So look at the Harriet on the cover. What do you notice about her? And what do you think this story might be about? So you can see here here is the Harriet. She's trying to do something. That try to do something a little bit. It is messy kind of. What do you think? What is happening here? She look. She had an accident. An accident means something happened that he didn't mean to be. Have you ever had an accident? And what happened with you guys? Let's dig out. So, Harriet Harris was a pesky child. She didn't mean to be, but she just was. One morning at breakfast, she knocked over the glass of juice just like that. Here you can see she just knocked over the juice. Here's Harriet spoiled something. What do you think her mom is thinking right now? Look at her mom face. What clue tell you how she feels like now? Look, she looks so frustrated. Frustrated means you are trying to stay calm, but you can't. It greatly rely hard, really hard. So, what do you think Harriet could to do to help? Or what do you if you are a mom or if you are parents? And what do you think Harriet keeps having accidents today? So let's together we read. One morning at breakfast, she knocked over a glass of juice just like that. Here. Her mother didn't like to yell, so instead she said, Harriet, oh my dear child, I'm sorry, said Harriet. And she was. At snacks time, she dribbled jam over her jeans, just like that. Her mother didn't like to yell, so instead she said, Harriet, my darling child, Harriet, you'll drive me wild. I'm so sorry, said Harriet, and she was. Before lunch, when Harriet was painting a picture, she dripped paint onto the carpet, just like that. Her mother didn't like to yell, so instead she said, Harriet, my darling child, Harriet, you'll drive me to wild. Harriet, sweetheart, what are you what are we to do? I'm so sorry, said Harriet, and she was. At lunch, Harriet slid off her chair and the tablecloth came with her just like that. Her mother didn't like to yell, so instead she said, Harriet, my darling child, Harriet, You'll drive me wild. Harriet, sweetheart, what are we to do? Harriet, Harris, I'm talking to you. I'm so sorry, said Harriet, and she was. Later that afternoon, when Harriet was meant to be napping, she ripped open a pillow just like that. 1,000 feathers flew in every direction. There was a terrible silence. Then Harriet's mother began to yell. She yelled and yelled and yelled. Wow, Mom shouted. What do you think? She shouted this time. Well, how do you think Harriet feels now? What tells you that? Who tells you that? Mom felt overwhelmed. That means she had to means feeling it all at once. I'm sorry, Harriet cried. I'm really, really sorry. Her mother took a deep breath. I know you are, she said, hugging Harriet tight. I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have yelled. I wish I hadn't. But sometimes it happens just like that. Big mess, said Harriet. A very big mess, said her mother, and she started to laugh. And finally, and they laughed and went to laughing as they picked up the feathers together. So, in this shared experience of Harriet's reading, You Will Drive Me Wild by Mem Fox and illustrated by Marvel Frazee, I used a range of intentional teaching here, strategy to support children's language, literacy, and comprehension skills. So, one key strength in my practice is like to use open-ended question in between when I'm reading, such as why do you think Harriet encouraged children to mom feeling? Why do you think Harriet's mom is feeling upset, or what might be happen next? This question encourages children to think critically. Additionally, is make predictions and express their ideas, and which are important aspect of language development and comprehension. So also I focus on descriptive vocabulary, particularly emotional words such as frustrated, angry, angerness, calm, and sorry. That's modeling this vocabulary help children to expand their language and better understanding and what the character is feeling and what Harriet and her mom is feeling about. To exposure meaningful and expressive laugh language during shared reading support children's ability to make connection to develop deeper understanding. To finally to engage children actively, I use strategies such as expressive tones, facial expression, and sometimes I give some pause to listen from some them to invite participation. So you can check when you're doing the check. I give some pause to get some participation from the other side. This I encourage children to respond, repeat phrase, and relate to the story their own experience as well. This strategy supported sustained shared thinking and created opportunities for back for and forth communication as well, which is essential for developing speaking and listening skill, I think.